city. Yeah. One body, one mind. One mind, one spirit. One spirit, one mind. Gotta make the world feel it. One body, one mind. One mind, one spirit. One spirit, one mind. Gotta make the world feel it.
Yeah, so what you identify with, bro? What's that? Issachar? Issachar, right? Issachar, the so-called Mexicans, right? So Issachar is actually one of the chosen tribes of God's people. Were we ever taught this? No, we was taught Mexican history. We was taught that we was good for working, you understand? We was good for getting conquered and then making up the working class of America. And we should just be happy with what we was given. That's what we was taught, right? Whether it was indirectly or directly. What else was we taught as blacks and Mexicans? So-called. That's what the society called us. God calls you Issachar. From the Issachar from the nation of Israel. That's right. You understand? So we're going to prove that to you, because I don't want you to walk away saying, yeah, these dudes in purple just told me. I want you to literally hear God's word and you to know who you are biblically, right? So Deuteronomy 28:15, watch this, bro, real quick. We use this Bible to identify who the people of God are. So watch this.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
This is Moses speaking to who? Speaking to you, right? But he's speaking to a people. Deuteronomy 1:1. Who is Moses speaking to? The people, right? Which people? Because the Bible, there's many different people that are mentioned, right? You got the Canaanites, right? You got the Moabites. But you also have God's people, the Israelites.
Bring it out!
Right? So let's see who Moses, like, do you know a little bit of Bible history, like who Moses was leading out of Egypt?
Wasn't he leading the 12 disciples?
Not quite the 12 tribes. The 12 tribes of who? We're going to read. Watch this.
Deuteronomy chapter 1 and verse 1.
How you doing, my brother? We showing Mexican history. So-called Mexican is actually in the Bible. All right, we are special people. Read.
These be the words which Moses spake unto all Israel.
Moses spake these words unto all Israel. Right? So now go back to chapter 28. Moses is speaking to who? The people of Israel, right? The children of Israel. Israel is a people before it's a place. Because guess what? The people of Israel have been scattered. The God's chosen people are not all in Israel today.
Come on!
We have been disconnected from our homeland. So Israel is a people before it's a place, right? So watch this. Now we know who Moses is talking to. So now read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass.
Future prophecy, right?
If thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe, to do all his commandments.
Do we keep the commandments in the Latino communities today? Do we not kill each other in Hispanic communities? Do we not show hatred for one another? Do we not get drunk and get high on a constant basis? Do we not have multiple girlfriends? Do we not sleep with multiple women? You understand? Are we not quick to fight, quick to gangbang? You understand? So guess what? We broke God's laws. We break God's laws on a daily. And we go through what we go through because we break God's laws. That's what we're trying to show you, right? Read.
and his statutes, which I command thee this day.
It says if the Israelites don't keep God's commandments, right? Let's see what happened.
That all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
Is a curse. Let's look at Colfax and Sheridan. I see trash on the floor. I see our people strung out on drugs. I see women walking around with bruises on their face, showing their bodies. You understand? I see people with no homes. I see families broken up. Are we living blessed or are we living cursed? You just look around and tell me. Cursed, right? So watch this. Read the next verse.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
It says, cursed will the Israelites be in the city. Remember, this is Moses prophesying the word of God to the children of Israel. So now we got to analyze who this fits. You go to any city in America. Name a couple cities. Name some major cities. Keep going.
Los Angeles.
New York, Los Angeles.
New Jersey.
What you say, big bro? What are some cities in America? Any cities, major cities. Washington, D.C., L.A., New York City. You go to the ghettos. You go to the parts where there's high rates of violence. You go to the parts a high drug rate. What people are you going to find in the ghettos? Who? Broken people. What race of people are you going to find in the ghettos? Blacks, Hispanics. So read that again.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
It's a curse to be fearful to step outside your door because violence is rampant in your community. That's a curse. You understand? It's a curse to walk to the bus stop and you can't walk in peace because there's drugs all around you. It's crack pipes all around. It's needles all around you. It's alcohol all around you. You can't even go back home a lot of times without seeing a family member laid out because he's drunk. Without seeing the police at your apartment complex. Read it again.
Cursed shalt thou be in the city.
That prophecy fits the children of Israel. Because what? Because we don't keep God's laws. We don't want to learn God's laws and we refuse to keep God's laws. So we coming out here to tell our people it's time to make a change. We in the last days, it's time to make a change, right?
You see it everywhere. Social media.
Yep.
Everywhere.
Like what?
Let's see, you got the pride marching, you got Satan worshiping, you got stuff going missing, unexplained stuff in the skies.
Right. Yep. They say it's so-called UFOs being spotted increasingly as the years go on, right? What if I told you those is God's chariots waiting on you to get right? That's what I'm saying. We've been taught wrong, bro. We've been taught that those was unidentified objects. We've been taught that we was just Mexican. We was taught how we live in the cities is normal. We was taught Christopher Columbus is a hero. We was taught they came over here to have dinner with the Native Americans. No, they came over here for murder. You understand? It's time to teach our people the truth, right? So I'm going to get what you said about the end times, right? All of the signs that you see, that we all see too. You understand? That's biblical, right? But first, we're going to continue to prove who you are in the Bible, right? Read.
And cursed shalt thou be in the field.
Check this out. You ever heard of the caciques? The chief rulers over the so-called Aztecs when they were conquered and colonized? We had order on this side of the world. Because you understand, your ancestors was on this side of the world already, right? Right? But guess what happened to them? They were gradually deceived and they were overcome and conquered and murdered. You understand? Read that again. Cursed what?
And cursed shalt thou be in the field.
A lot of people think about the fields and they think about so-called African Americans working the fields. But guess what happened when the conquistadors got to America, got to Mexico? Guess what they did to the natives of the land? Enslaved them. This is history, right? So-called Hispanics, so-called the indigenous people of Mexico, they was forced to go dig silver. They was forced to work sugar plantations. They was forced to go dig gold because Mexico is a wealthy land and bring that gold right back to the conquistador. Or they would get their hand chopped off. They would get murdered. And a lot of your ancestors, they was put in chains, put on ships, and shipped to Europe, shipped to Spain to serve captivity in those lands as well. You understand? So when the scriptures say we cursed in the field too, that's literally talking about slavery. The blacks and Hispanics was cursed working the fields for the so-called white man. How you doing, my brother? You good, my brother? All right. You understand that history is in the Bible, right? So watch this. Even today, who do you see working the fruit fields, the orange fields? Who do you see working most construction plants on the highways, in new communities that are getting built up? Who?
Hispanics.
Say it again.
Hispanics.
Hispanics. Think about it.
Right.
Why are our brothers, the so-called Hispanics, working the hardest, longest hours? But where do the so-called Hispanics go back home to?
Wake them up.
Poverty. You understand? We're reading our history. We're reading prophecy coming to pass in front of your eyes because we broke God's laws. You understand? Read verse 30.
Verse 30. Thou shalt betroth a wife.
It says, we're still talking about the curses that was put on the children of Israel. All right, I want you to keep that in your mind, right? Let me ask you, why is it important to identify the curses that would happen to the Israelites? Let me ask you that. Why do you think that's important? How you doing, sister? We talking about Latino history, sister. Why do you think that's important?
So you can understand why things are going on.
So we can understand what's going wrong. That's a good answer, because we walk up and down the streets daily. And I'm talking about we grow old to 50, 60, and we have no answers to tell to our children why we go through the things we go through, why we're in the conditions that we're in, why we feel the prison system. All we can say is, it is what it is. Just do you. Just do you. Just do better. But how? Oh, just follow your heart. These are the answers that we are given by our elders, so-called elders, right? Because it's all they know. It's all they know, right? Read that.
Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse 30. Thou shalt betroth a wife, and another man shall lie with her.
So what happened also when Christopher Columbus and them got to Mexico? What happened after they slaughtered all the mighty men who stood up to fight, enslaved the men that accepted slavery, shipped them off to the fields? Who's left? What you think they did to you think they treated the women right? How? Willingly? They raped them. They raped them, bro. Same thing that happened to our people, so-called black, so-called African Americans. The same history happened to the so-called Hispanics. You understand? Read.
Thou shalt betroth a wife.
Betrothed is like you get a wife, right?
And another man shall lie with her.
The white man laid down with our women. The conquistador laid down with our women. You understand? It's something called, you ever heard of blancamiento? It's a system put in place when the European man systematically conquered all of the various lands that he conquered that we was at. He systematically wanted to whiten the appearance of the indigenous people there by raping the women, having lighter and lighter babies, so to in theory wipe the natives out and make the white race more powerful. But guess what? The Most High is raising back up his seed. You can't wipe us out. We the sand of the sea. You can't wipe the children of Israel out. That's why you standing here right now listening.
What is a nation? Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is community. Nation is children with role models.